And showtime! Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of the ChannelPro 5-Minute Roundup. A look at news, trends, and tips for the SMB channel in 5 minutes or thereabouts. My name is Rich Freeman. I am executive editor of the ChannelPro Network, also one of your hosts on this program. I am joined this week, as I am every week, by your other co-host, Eric Simpson, a business transformation and improvement advisor to MSPs and other IT providers. Eric, how's it going?
It's going great, Rich. How you doing today?
Well, I think this is the second week in a row, if I'm not mistaken, that the sun has been shining here in Seattle. It's starting to feel a little bit like spring out here, so I'm actually doing okay.
Yeah, it's getting warm out here in Southern California. So yeah, it's definitely we're moving past some of that winter coldness. But I was on a call with a Canadian client this morning who informed me that they had snow today. So
Ouch.
there you go. So enjoy the
Well,
sun while you have it.
yeah, the grass is always greener, and sometimes on your side of the fence, and in this case, further south you go, the greener that grass is getting. Well, let's dive right into the top story of the week here, Eric. This is an interesting one. I'm going to be curious to get your perspective on this, because I can't really think of another instance in the industry quite like this one. And the gist of it basically is Ingrow Micro is in the PSA business. Now, this is in connection with Cloud Blue, which is their B2B e-commerce platform, essentially their cloud computing platform for their partners. They officially introduced it under that name a few years back. They spent 9 years before that building it at a cost of $500 million. And from the get-go, the vision for it was that it was going to be a truly complete platform for building and running a cloud business. So in addition to finding and reselling software as a service licenses or infrastructure as a service capacity, you were going to be able to provision that software, orchestrate the rollout, bundle the software, do your billing, do your marketing. All the tools that you need to run the business were going to be on that platform. The biggest piece of the puzzle, I guess, that was missing from Ingram's standpoint was a PSA application, something that you can kind of tie into the lead generation and marketing stuff that Ingram does with you, and also use to support your customers, track tickets, etc. And they have filled that gap. They have purchased a company called Harmony Business Systems, which makes a PSA product called Harmony PSA. This actually happened last year. This happened quite a number of months ago. They only officially announced it to the world this week. They've spent the time since then integrating the PSA product with the rest of the Cloud Blue platform, so that their partners can use it as part of that management experience through Cloud Blue. Now, a number of things that, just to address some of the questions that always come up in these kinds of stories. So Ingram has had and continues to have relationships with software makers who produce other PSA products, ConnectWise and Datto, Kaseya, etc. Those relationships remain intact. Ingram says open ecosystem. We're not kind of shutting anybody out or shutting anybody off. If you are a Harmony PSA customer, you're not supposedly going to notice very much different. Your contract and your relationship with Harmony will go on pretty much the same. Harmony will, in fact, continue to do business under that name. It is now part of Cloud Blue, but it also operates as a PSA company that sells to MSPs. And those MSPs do not need to be Ingrow Micro partners necessarily. And, I will also say that when I spoke to the folks at Ingram about this, they went out of their way to emphasize that, they don't view this as a competitive play in relation to the ConnectWises and Dattos and Kaseyas of the world. They're not going to be looking to push anybody off of those PSA platforms. But if you are a Cloud Blue user, there is going to be closer integration, more and tighter integration between this particular PSA product and the rest of Cloud Blue, because they can get at it from a source code level and really kind of tie you into, for example, the lead generation programs that they run, and feed leads directly in there, feed support tickets and update support tickets directly in there. So there will be some advantages, theoretically, to an Ingram partner if they're using Harmony as their PSA product. So, interesting move. I can't think of another distributor that has a PSA product that it owns like this. Ingram said when they were discussing this with me, this is part of a larger master MSP vision that they have. And, master MSP, this is a term that we've heard used in the past by Continuum before ConnectWise bought them, by companies like Collaborants. Is Ingrow Micro kind of moving beyond this strategic cloud move or path that they've been on for a number of years here, and really trying to become more of a managed services master MSP line of business provider that would, in some regards, overlap with what some of these other big companies in the industry do? And is there enough value? Is it compelling enough from an MSP standpoint to have a PSA product integrated in with their cloud platform, to consider using two different platforms, or maybe even switching from whatever they're using today to Harmony? Just an interesting development in the industry, Eric. What do you think?
So many thoughts I have, Rich. So many thoughts. It's interesting, Of course, everyone says, "Well, we're not out to compete with anybody," but there was a lot of strategy that went behind this acquisition. I bet all of us understand that. And first thought was, which RMM will they be purchasing? Right? To fill out that bundle, that core bundle of platforms and services that an MSP really needs. The next thing I thought, listening to you kind of elaborate on the positioning of this, in your comments about, yeah, I can't really think of another distributor that has actually invested in a PSA either, but I can think of a PSA vendor that kind of looking like a distributor now, right? I mean, ConnectWise has its marketplace, and it is. The more I think about what they're doing, it's more kind of they are a distributor for these other partnerships that they have with other vendors that allow their partners to subscribe to these other vendor services right through their marketplace and integrate into their platform. So I see a lot of similarity, just looking at that perspective. It's kind of like PSA becoming a distributor buying a PSA. There's some parallels there, I'd say. And I mean, who knows, Rich? Partners that are already MSPs have made their investments in their PSA solutions. Stats tell us that an MSP may change their platforms, a couple of times during their lifetime. I'm not really sure how Harmony PSA stacks up against kind of the usual suspects that we all know, but it will be interesting to see what develops, and again, what other plays Ingram makes, to give us more opportunity to conjecture.
Yeah, well, your comment about them, maybe buying an RMM system is an interesting one. I don't know if that will happen, but yeah, that at that point you kind of understand they really are building out the complete master MSP stack if that happens. I should say, I didn't say very much about Harmony for folks who aren't familiar with them. They were founded in 2017. They first came onto my radar when someone named Alistair Forbes became their chairman. Now, Alistair Forbes is a name that will be familiar to some of you out there. He used to run Logic Now, which was an RMM vendor once upon a time. SolarWinds bought them back in 2016, 2017, if I'm remembering right. And shortly after that transaction and the transition was done, Forbes left SolarWinds and eventually became the chairman of Harmony. It's a UK-based company. They have been toying with a serious entrance into the North American market, I know, for a while. I don't think they have a giant footprint here yet. But one of the things that made them appealing to Ingram is that it's a very multilingual, multi-currency kind of platform, and CloudBlue, does business worldwide. So it was kind of a nice fit for them in that respect. But yeah, it would be hard for me certainly to say. I don't know a lot of Harmony PSA users, so I don't really know how it stacks up against some of those other products out there.
Yeah, I know a few, but not enough to, to venture any kind of commentary. And, again, I mean, when you start banding about the term master MSP, you think, well, there are some platforms that everyone considers a requirement to become, a master MSP and to deliver those services to other MSPs. And, like I said, let's see if there's any news on the RMM front, in the future for Ingram.
And we'll just see where this goes generally. I was speaking with an Ingram partner just a little bit earlier today, and he said this is interesting. I'm sure, I'll reach out to my Ingram rep, and they'll probably do a demo for me, and then we'll see what happens from there. But I imagine there will be a lot of and there are obviously a lot of Ingram partners in the industry, and there will be a lot of them who are kicking the tires on this in the next few weeks and months, and we'll see what they conclude once they've had a look at this. Well, Ingram buying a PSA vendor, this is a big picture move, a big picture strategic kind of move, and that's kind of a nice segue to your tip of the week.
Thanks, Rich. Nice segue. And yeah, the tip of the week this week is it's time to reevaluate or revisit your mission, vision, and values for your organization. I mean, we all know, Rich, that businesses and the economy and uh, you know uh, just the environment that we've been operating in over the last several years have really experienced a lot of change around diversity and culture and acceptance and what's proper to how to address people now and how folks identify themselves. And I think if we haven't taken a look at our mission, vision, and values recently, I think it's high time to reevaluate because maybe you and your organization now think differently, behave differently, and want to express that uniqueness and value to your clients in a different way. And it's much like, revisiting a business plan. The business plan that served you 10 years ago certainly needs a review if you're trying to do business today, especially after, I mean, even a couple of years ago, I think a business plan needs to be revisited quite often. Not so often should we revisit our mission, vision, and values, but I think as a result of what we've all gone through recently, I think it's high time to just take a hard look at, what our mission, vision, and value statement is today, what we stand for, and does it properly reflect who we are and how we want to represent ourselves to our clients and prospects and how we will conduct business moving forward. I had a great webinar yesterday with your colleague Colleen Fry and Corey Kirkendall, and we talked about diversity and inclusion and things like that. And that's really what kind of fostered my thinking around today's tip of the week is these things are changing and we're being more accepting and trying to be more diverse and welcoming. And it certainly does directly impact how we view ourselves and how we want to be viewed by the folks that we work with and for and who we hire and accept into our staff and who fits culturally and things like that. So I think it's a timely topic.
I mean, it's not a new observation by any means. The industry has changed enormously in the last year. We're all sort of familiar with how the pandemic and the work from home phenomenon has accelerated cloud adoption and changed work models. And so it's a very different industry today than it was 12 months ago. It probably is a good time, a wise time, to make sure that you are still in alignment with where the industry is and where it's going. And the other thing that just occurs to me is it's so important, I think, for any company in any line of work, essentially, to be crystal clear on what that mission is, what they are about, because that's really how, in a sense, you're going to evaluate any business opportunity, business decision that you might make. Instead of just, is this going to contribute to the bottom line? You really want to understand, is this thing we could do right now something that aligns with our mission and our values? Because sometimes that you need to make the hard decision to walk away from some money or that you might make or something like that because it really isn't in keeping with your identity and your roadmap and where you're going. So at any time, I think it's important to understand exactly what the vision is and what the mission is. And this might be a good time to make sure that it hasn't changed.
Very well said, Rich.
Well, with that, we got time for just one more story here, folks. So let's take a peek at that. And, I don't know about you, Eric, every now and again, if I'm kind of kicking around on a Sunday afternoon, I might go into a closet, look for some stuff I don't need anymore that I can give away to somebody else who could get more business or more use out of it. Wouldn't it be great if the thing you found in the back of the closet, if you had so much wealth basically that the stuff you just really didn't need anymore was money. Because essentially, at least apparently, this is what happened in Oklahoma recently. Somebody made a Goodwill donation after cleaning out a closet. The folks at the Goodwill were kind of sifting through these old sweaters that this person had donated, and felt something, some sort of lump in the middle of these two sweaters, got in there and just found $42,000 in cash. That had apparently been, sitting around in the closet, wrinkled. I don't really need this is old money. I don't need it anymore. And so, they didn't intend to donate the $42,000 in cash. What it was doing in the closet is a good question. But happy ending to this story, Eric. The honest Goodwill employee contacted the person who made the donation, returned the money. The person who accidentally gave this money passed along $1,000 reward to the very honest Goodwill person. Everybody kind of comes out ahead, but I'm just tickled by the thought, basically, of I don't. This money is wrinkled. I don't want it anymore.
Yeah, Rich. I need to start going through our closets to see if there's any, quarters or dimes that may have gotten caught up into some of my sweaters.
Yeah. Yeah, I would be delighted to find a $10 bill in an old sweater somewhere. $42,000 is hitting the jackpot. Well, folks, that is all the time we've got this week on the 5 Minute Roundup. Thank you so much for joining us. If you like the show, you might want to take a look at some old episodes you missed. You want to know about the new episodes when they become available. Best thing to do is go to the ChannelPro Network channel on YouTube and become a subscriber. If you click that little bell icon, you'll actually get notifications when the new episodes go up. To read more about Ingram Buying Harmony, to get all sorts of great business growth advice for your company, please visit channelpronetwork.com every day, because we have got awesome new content for you going up there every day. To learn more about Eric and the work he does with his clients, you should visit ericsimpson.com. That is ERICK Simpson.com. Once again, thank you very much for joining us on the show. We're going to be back next week with another episode for you. Until then, folks, please enjoy the rest of your week. Eric and I are enjoying the rest of your week already.
Already.